What's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you today about New Zealand and the Korean War. Okay, New Zealand sent their Navy and Army to the Korean War. Talk about their Navy first. Their Navy sent 1,350 sailors to fight for the United Nations in the Korean War for the United Nations in South Korea. And the two main ships that the New Zealand Navy used were the Tatira and the Bukaki. The predominant mission of those two ships was troop escort missions. They escorted a lot of U.S. troops from Japan to South Korea, and they did that, and because they did that, the U.S. troops landed in Korea safely. They did not get sank by North Korean submarine. And also, their Navy fought in the Battle of Incheon. Incheon was the turning point of the Korean War. This is when the UN forces started winning more battles in the Korean War. And one New Zealand sailor was killed in the Battle of Incheon, okay? And the U.S. was the main force in that battle, but many other countries helped out the U.S. with troop escorts and also shore bombardment. And the Tatira and the Bukaki bombarded the enemy shores, so that really helped the U.S. Marines land safely at the Battle of Incheon. Okay, now talk about their army. Their army was an artillery unit called K-Force, and a little over 1,000 soldiers in the New Zealand Army served in K-Force. Okay, it was an artillery unit, and they had the record in the Korean War for firing 10,000 rounds of artillery in one day. No other unit fired 10,000 rounds in one day. And where K-Force really shined was in the Battle of Kapyong. The invading Chinese forces got this close to the defending Australian and Canadian forces, but the New Zealand artillery fire was so accurate that it only hit the invading Chinese forces. It not accidentally hit any of the defending Australian or Canadian forces. That's how effective of an artillery unit K-Force was. So we really need to keep their memory alive. The reason a lot of people don't know about this, though, is the United States is committed to defending New Zealand, okay? And that's honestly the main reason New Zealand came to the Korean War, because they wanted to build strong ties with the U.S. and they wanted the U.S. to protect them in the future. And the U.S. still lives up to that obligation and protects them. New Zealand, the reason their economy is so large, their military nowadays is efficient but small because the U.S. protects them. And that was through the ANZ-U.S. Treaty in 1951. And the U.S. said, if you guys send soldiers to the Korean War, we'll protect you. And New Zealand did. But however, the U.S. government, not intentionally, but they accidentally overlooked a lot of New Zealand's accomplishments in the Korean War and did not award them a lot of medals or citations. Not intentionally. New Zealand was grateful for a lot of the protection America gave them also during World War II. When New Zealand was fighting the Germans in North Africa, the U.S. came and protected New Zealand against invading Japanese forces. However, the U.S. government should have not overlooked what the New Zealand soldiers did. It was just a glitch in an era, but it needs to be corrected, and we need to raise awareness of their accomplishments, because their accomplishments were very great. Just like in the Battle of Mariang-san, Australia was able to decisively defeat the Chinese in that battle, and a lot of the main reasons Australia was able to was because of the New Zealand artillery, the accurate fire that K-Force had against the invading Chinese forces. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Take care, God bless, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.
New Zealand was the 7th United Nations ally to contribute both naval and ground forces to the United Nations effort in support of the Republic of Korea. Two New Zealand Navy frigates were dispatched for the Korean War and assigned to the United States Navy to launch naval operations on July 30, 1950. As for the ground forces, New Zealand established a new artillery regiment. It arrived at Busan on December 31st, 1950. The size of the regiment was similar to a Korean artillery battalion. At birth, the artillery regiment was placed under the command of 27th British Brigade to stick its operations, but later, in July 28, 1951, it served as an artillery unit for the British Commonwealth 1st Division, commanding the 28th Brigade. During the war period, the New Zealand Artillery Unit assisted by giving added firepower to the defence in early 1951, when the UN forces launched a counter-offensive to support the repelling communist forces by providing firepower at Manong, Mount Rowan, the Hukyo North Dakota Force, and Gapion. The unit shot 72,000 shells in the commando operation launched to attack the hills of Gowan and Mara west of Gongok, recording the greatest number of shots fired in a single operation during the whole war period. After the armistice agreement was signed on July 27, 1953, the New Zealand Navy pulled out of Korea in 1954 as ground forces in November 1955. About 6,000 New Zealand troops took part in the fight, and 43 of them gave their lives for freedom and peace in Korea.